you were talking about the zone earlier and being in a zone, whether it's athletics or whatever. One of the passions that I have now that I share with my wife is that we perform and do music. I love to play the guitar and we sing. I like to do harmonies, but there's times, whether it's in front of large crowds or sometimes even smaller groups, where when you're playing you get nervous fingers, and it's hard just for a moment or two to get your body to relax into what you're doing, or when you're singing to get your voice to project with the power that you hear sometime when you're in that zone. And that inconsistency sometimes just drives me nuts. And so I wonder, as far as being able to place yourself into that on a consistent basis, what are your thoughts?
We can give it to you exactly, and as you hear this, you will forevermore be in the musical zone. When you are singing from your joy of connection, no problem. In other words, when you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, when you are knowing your value and singing because the joy is just coming forth from you, with no awareness of what anybody else thinks about what you're doing. In other words, it's from a place of connection that you are expressing. Everything goes well. But if you are expressing in order to achieve your place of connection, now it's backwards. Another way of saying that is, if I'm singing to you because I love to sing whether you're there or not, I'm more likely to be connected than if I'm trying to do a good job because I need you to approve of what I'm singing to you. So it's all about singing from the inside out rather than from the outside in. It's about caring more about the song than it is about the response to the song. Jerry tells a story, it's our favorite story about this, where for years he was in show business and for many years a master of ceremony. So he brought on the acts. And there was a man named Woo Woo Stevens who sang and played the banjo. And from Jerry's accounting, he couldn't do either one. But he didn't know it. And every time he got on stage, he brought down the house. He always had to be the last man on the bill because no one could follow him. Everyone just wanted woo-woo, woo-woo, woo-woo. We want woo-woo back because woo-woo is so in love with the experience of entertaining that he didn't give a rip what anyone thought about how he did. In other words, he was just in love with the process itself. And so it's the same sort of thing that we say as we're talking to someone about being loved. It's so much more important that you love than that you be loved. Because when you are loving, you are a vibrational match to that which is love, and then you are utterly lovable and people can't help but love you. But if your motive is to be loved and you think that you aren't, now you're crossways of the current, and it's the same sort of thing. You want to sing because it is joyful to sing, period. You want to sing, as you so well said to us, because you love to sing. You want to sing for the joy of singing. And if they like it, fine. If they don't like it, fine. If they're into it with you, fine. In other words, Jerry and Esther love music. They love so many different kinds of music. And they're always gathering their favorites. And people are sending them pieces of music. And every piece of music that comes, they play it. And sometimes they only play it once. And sometimes they play it over and over and over and over until Esther begs, no more, please, no more. And the thing that they've both noticed is that the way the music feels to them is more about where they are when they hear the music than anything else. In other words, as you are playing to an audience, you reach those who are tuned in, tapped in, turned on. But those who aren't in that moment, while your music can be catalytic and it can reach out and get them, it won't reach everyone. And there's this thing about being a leader, and you certainly are that, a teacher and a leader, that makes you sometimes play to the weakest one. In other words, you find someone that you're not reaching, and then they become the focal point. And that, we think, is at the heart of the fingers that cannot find their places. There's more of an awareness of this one that isn't resonating, where you could be the Picasso of the guitar. You could be the Michelangelo of the guitar. You could be the most magnificent musician with your machine and with your partner, and you still wouldn't reach that person because in this moment they are unreachable. And you have to make your audience a non-issue. You must sing for your joy of singing, and your audience will find you.
Thank you.